This webinar today is for the surrogate curious. Those of you who have been watching our page or who have questions about surrogacy, aren't sure if you would be a candidate or you'd just like to learn more. So I hope that today I have a chance to answer your questions, curiosities, and encourage you with the understanding, the fact, the knowledge that surrogacy is a beautiful rite of passage that although we hope ends with you giving back a child to their parents, is also a beautiful rite of passage that you are able to participate in. And let's get started. So you're interested in surrogacy. How do you even find out more? You reach out to Canadian Fertility Consulting or Sacred Surrogacy, and we have one of our great intake people give you a call. They can call you right away. They can send you a text message with information, or they can email you with our information package. The information package outlines the general process, completing a profile, matching with intended parents, the medical process, and support available to you throughout your journey. I'm going to start with the surrogate profile. As you are beginning to dream about a surrogacy journey or even get curious about one, the first and most important question is, who are you going to help? Are you interested in helping a same-sex couple? Are you interested in helping a single mom? Maybe you're a single mom and that just feels like a fit for you. Are you looking for intended parents who live in your community or nearby and can participate in the pregnancy? Or are you busy, private, or for whatever other reason, looking for intended parents who live a bit of a distance away so that you can carry on with the pregnancy and update them by email, phone, and then of course have them present at the birth? Really important to think about those things. And as you do, begin to think about post-birth. What contact would look like for you? Would you want them to be a part of your family? Would you be interested in being an auntie to this baby? That, again, is such a personal decision that we ask people to think about it ahead of time. Because once you're matched with intended parents, that's often an immovable value on both sides. From there, we're going to ask you what your timeline is. Are you ready to get started now? Knowing that now getting started is probably about 4 to 5 months away from actually being pregnant. There are so many steps in between. So is 4 or 5 months good for you? Is it more of a year time frame? We need to know that information so that we can suggest when we get your profile filled out and when we have you start looking at people that you could potentially help. CFC is a surrogate-led program. And what that means is you will select the intended parents that you work with. They will review your profile. And of course, you'll have lots of people to choose from. And it'll be up to you. And we hold you able to decide who is the best fit, who's right for you. And you may go into this thinking, I'd like to help a gay couple. My brother's gay. He doesn't want kids, but I'd really like to show up as an ally to the LGBTQ plus community. And then you see Cindy and Mark, and they blow you away with their love story, with the fact that they live in Ireland, a place you've always wanted to visit. And so that shifts for you. So decide what you want, begin to look at profiles, and be open and willing to change your mind, because your mind may be changed by the beautiful story. And beautiful stories there are. For every one surrogate, there are typically 50 intended parents hoping that she will pick them. 1 in 6 couples is struggling with infertility around the globe. There are many single people who, for many reasons, didn't have kids when it was when they were in that marriage or in that relationship and are now ready to become parents. There are also same-sex couples. So when we look at the 1 in 6, really we think it's closer to 1 in 5, maybe even 1 in 4 people who would desire parenthood and will need assistance to get there. Now, while all of that is important, For the purposes of this webinar, what's even more important is, how is this going to work for you? How is this going to be a fit for you? How are you going to honor maybe your partner, your children, your job, your busy life? How are you going to show up in community and do this great thing? So I wanted to share with you something really important. As you're looking at an agency, and I hope you're looking at CFC, having support, having the commitment of an agency, having the commitment of their on-staff therapist, having a commitment of a community of surrogates, that may be local, may live, 1,000 kilometers away from you, that are there for you. Because while giving these people a baby is amazing, there is often not a straight line in surrogacy. And so becoming, being a surrogate often is about so much more than that. And so I really want to encourage you that this journey is a rite of passage. It is beautiful. We do honor it through sacred surrogacy, through retreats, through community and connection. And so I really, while it's important to pick the people and decide who you want to help, also, how are you going to honor yourself through that? And so as you're filling out the profile, here are my sort of top 5 ways. Maybe I'm going to ramble off into more than 5, but here are some ways that you can really show up for yourself. Be honest about your profile. Come forward. Tell us what you need to be pregnant. Tell us what childcare costs will be if you're on bed rest. Tell us what housekeeping costs will be as you get further into your pregnancy and need someone to come in and change bunk beds. Because I'm telling you, at 7 months pregnant, trying to climb up to the top of a bunk bed to change it likely isn't a thing, or it wasn't for me anyways. And so what do you need? Being really clear about that, not only who you want to help, but what you're going to need in order to help, so that the agency you're working with can really paint a clear picture for intended parents about your financial needs. During surrogacy, your expenses will be reimbursed for any pregnancy-related expenses. And if you were to be on bed rest, unable to work, whether you're working, traditionally or at home, which seems like the biggest job ever, as a stay-at-home mom, replacing you in the home with your children while you are resting is the responsibility of the intended parents. And that's why coming forward to really share what it is you need, so that the intended parents can ensure that that's in a contract. So you have filled out the application, you've decided who you want to help, you have put down what you need to move forward. Next step is the clinic. So you're going to visit the fertility clinic that your intended parents are working with. We will make sure that you meet that clinic's criteria, whether it's number of C-sections you've had, whether it's number of pregnancies you've had or not exceeded. We will make sure everything is organized. We will book your travel. I will say the majority of our clients work with clinics in Toronto because it seems to be sort of the hub for fertility treatments within Canada. So we will get you there and get you there with a companion if you want to have your spouse or partner travel with you. And at that appointment, it's going to be really important that you ask all the questions. This is an opportunity for you to check out with the doctor some of the ideas you have around surrogacy. You'll have blood work, you'll have a pelvic ultrasound, you'll have a conversation with the doctor, you'll have a breast exam. The doctor will, the doctor's job is to assess you as a suitable candidate for surrogacy. And the invitation for you is to get really curious with the doctor around surrogacy. And your mom might send you with a list of questions. Your partner may send you with a list of questions. You may have a list of questions. It's important to ask your questions. Your questions matter. And that doctor, nurse practitioner, the nurse you meet with, they are all there to answer those questions. So you go to that appointment. So you've already been matched. So you filled out your profile, told us who you're looking for. We've matched you with those people. You're going to the doctor's appointment for screening. Now we wait. A week, 2 weeks, sometimes 3. surrogacy is truly hurry up and wait. You will then have a lawyer that will review with you what a legal contract in Canada looks like. It's important that your intended parents understand their roles and responsibilities, and that you also understand your roles and responsibilities, that everything is there from termination of a pregnancy if there's a medical abnormality, which is something we will have figured out together ahead of time. But it's important it's there. Your expenses, your wage loss, counseling available to you, talking about, drug use during pregnancy, which, always shocks me that it's there, because as a mom, that's just not even on my radar, but has to be there. So there's a contract in place. You will review it with a lawyer. The intended parents will pay for that lawyer. And so you will have an opportunity then, as you did at the clinic, to ask all your questions, to get really clear about your legal obligation as a surrogate, as well as your intended parents' legal obligation. So you go through that process. We're all set. Contracts are signed. Next, we wait for your period. We wait. As we know, when we're waiting for our period, sometimes it's delayed, and we wait. So we know that when your period starts, the clinic is going to have you start a medication protocol. And there are many different protocols. And again, at that screening appointment, asking the doctor the questions about, can I do this without medication? What medication do I need to take? What are the risks of that medication? What if the embryo transfer doesn't work? What if the embryo splits and I'm pregnant with twins? All of those questions are great to have, so that when the time comes, you get your period, the nurse reaches out, or you reach out to the nurse, got my period, ready to go. She then sets up the protocol process. There's typically a 2-week ramp up of medication and an ultrasound and some blood work, and then the embryo transfer, the magic. It is about 5 minutes of magic, and typically up to 3 hours of waiting for said magic. And that's because fertility clinics are busy, and there's never a way to predict what's going to happen in a fertility clinic, whether it's someone there who has just had a loss, who the doctor needs to spend a bit more time with. But know that you matter and you are important. I want to impart on you the importance of this day, the beauty of this day. So you will be at the clinic. You will see the embryo on a little TV screen. It's the size of a pinhead, but they blow it up so it looks, about this big, and you can see it expanding in the cells. And, the doctor inserts the speculum, uses a tiny, tiny catheter, and he places the embryo in your uterus. And then the wait. The 2-week dreaded wait to see if it was successful. We don't talk about whether or not a transfer failed. We talked about whether the science was successful. Because there is no way to fail as a surrogate as long as you're giving your all and doing your best. So you will continue to take that medication up until week 12 of the pregnancy. And strangely, at the transfer, you're 2 weeks pregnant, even though you're not pregnant yet. But that's how our bodies work. And when you're confirmed pregnant, you're 4 weeks pregnant. It's very crazy. It just is the way IVF math is. You'll be confirmed pregnant. And from there, you will manage the pregnancy as you would in any pregnancy. And so you'll see your OB, you'll see your midwife, you'll plan for a hospital birth, you'll plan for a home birth. You will keep your intended parents in the loop. Your agency will support you, ensuring that you have your financial reimbursements each month. They will ensure that your intended parents are supported and have all of their questions answered, so that they aren't on your back, other than to ask you how you're feeling and if they can do anything for you. All of that support is so important. And you'll carry on through the pregnancy. In around 25 weeks, we will coordinate. We will get in place the lawyer for the post-birth paperwork, because these people have to be named parents after you've had the baby. We will get in place the hospital plan, making sure the hospital understands this is a surrogacy. You are the patient, they are the parents, the baby is here and with them. And so we will work with you on all of those pieces. And as well, when the big day comes, any support you need, you will reach out to a coordinator at your agency, hopefully at CFC, and she will support you there as well. And baby's born, you will decide if you will pump or the parents are going to bottle feed, formula feed, whatever that looks like. And then we hold you. And then we support you in that 4th trimester, because it sometimes takes our head a while to catch up. There's this moment, or there was for me, there was a moment when I had the 3 kids I delivered through surrogacy, that I waited for the parents to look back at me after they went to their baby. And when they did, I knew that all was right and all was okay. And so in that, months after the delivery, continuing to have that support, whether it's calls with our therapist at CFC and Sacred, whether it's, text messages with the intended parents, no matter what it is, it's important that your agency know what you need, how they can show up for you, and how your intended parents can show up for you so that your agency can coach them on what that showing up looks like, because it's new to everyone. So I hope that in this short, 20 minutes, I was able to give you a bit of information. And I would love to answer any questions that you have about surrogacy.